Welcome back to Bountiful Gardens, Hillsboro. Can you believe it? We're already through the first week of summer. You know, time really flies when you're here in the garden, just like the star of today's episode, the bumblebee. Last week, butterflies got the spotlight, but there are so many other pollinators in our gardens, and they all have very important roles to play. Over the next few videos, we're going to be highlighting some of the most crucial pollinators in your landscape and some of the plants that you can install to keep them thriving in your yard. In addition to feeding your bumblebees, there are plenty of simple ways that you can provide them with nesting and overwintering habitat, supporting them year-round. So let's turn things over to Dan to learn a little bit more about the life cycle of the bumblebee.
Hey everyone, Dan from Bountiful Gardens here, and I'm standing in the midst of our Agastache patch, and surrounding me is also a community of all these different kinds of pollinators. We've got beetles, we've got some of our native leafcutter and miner bees, but most importantly, we have our American bumblebee. So this native bee is super important because it's a generalist bee, and what this means is that it's a bee that will use many different kinds of plants in order to get its nectar and food throughout the growing season. Our American bumblebee prefers plants of blue, pink, purple, and yellow colors. And as you can see in front of me, we've got all that here with the Agastache, which is why they're surrounding me here and enjoying all the nectar they have to offer. So in the fall, queen bees will start focusing their energy on producing new queens for the following year. They'll lay eggs, and those queen bees are going to hatch, and towards the end of the fall, they're going to start looking for overwintering sites. Usually that's in a shallow spot in the ground where there's loose soil, in a little bit of leaf litter, pile of sticks, old wood, anything like that. They'll overwinter, and then come early spring, they'll emerge and start looking for early signs of pollen from all sorts of different kinds of native flowers. The American bumblebee is one of our largest native bees, and because of that, they do something unique called buzz pollination. So instead of just flying around from flower to flower like some of our smaller bees do, what they do is as they fly around and as they flap their wings, they're shaking their butts and all that pollen going everywhere, pollinating all of our favorite plants.
Well, now that we understand a little bit more about the bumblebee and its needs, let's take a look at some of the plants that you can put in your garden to keep them safe and happy.
In previous videos, I mentioned spicebush and red maples as early food sources for pollinators. Another good early food source that you could add to that list would be eastern redbuds. They're a nice understory tree that you would find in open woodlands. You can utilize them in smaller spaces, which make them great for gardens and landscapes. In the early spring, they provide nice nectarous flowers for bumblebees.
Hello, my name is Olga. Every morning I go to work and I'm excited. Today I'm seeing something beautiful, for example, Bumblebee. You see, it's like a boss in pollinators. He looks like a helicopter. He attracts beam bomb and he really like it because this is purple flowers. It's always interesting and you can watch in your garden, but you need little bit perennials in your garden.
Bumblebee love Foxglove. Easy to care and the flower all summer, and if you see the bean, you love the flowers.
Here in front of me is blue mist flower, our native perennial Ageratum. This blue to lavender type flower will start blooming early to midsummer and will go all the way till frost. It does well in sunny locations that tend to stay a little bit moist, but it can do well in part sun and average soils. It will spread like a blanket across the ground, forming a nice mass of these flowers in time. But of course, most importantly, they support our American bumblebee.
Bumblebees also love roses. One of the things that makes this rose special is that it's one of our native species. This one's called Virginia rose. Bumblebees love their small pale pink flowers that arrive in late spring going into the early summer.
You see, this is all Echinacea. We have different types of Echinacea. And it was really interesting for me because this is native North America plant. But in my country, Ukraine, this is the same native plant. It's really popular because we use these plants like medicine. It's increase your immune system. This is a really good flower. It's flowering all summer and it's attract a lot of pollinators.
Bumblebees like Coreopsis. The Coreopsis is my favorite flowers, having the different colors, yellow, pink, whatever you like it.
Here in front of me is Agastache, a really nice native plant here at Bountiful Gardens. This plant blooms usually from early summer all the way until early fall. It's got a slight minty aroma to it, which helps to deter deer and rabbits from your garden. They come in yellows, reds, pinks, blues, purples, pretty much any color you can imagine. And they come in sizes from about 12 inches tall all the way up to 4 feet tall. But what's so great about them, and as you can see, they be supporting those bees.
So Clethra is one of my favorite shrubs. Not only are they native, they're also a favorite food source for pollinators, including bumblebees. Their seed pods add a nice texture to the winter landscape.
This is thyme. It has really amazing smell and so tiny flowers. It's really cute. It's really good to protect your soil because it growing like a dry soil. And you can use these plants for tea all the time, all the season. I really recommend it.
Bumblebees love all this Veronica. Veronica love for sun, come in so many colors like white, pink, and purple.
For those of you out there that love the tropical hibiscus, but can't seem to get it to live throughout the winter, this is the perfect plant for you. This is our native winter-hardy hibiscus, and they are just loaded with buds right now. Give it another week or two, these are gonna be in full bloom with that beautiful, about 8-inch disc-sized flower, and best of all, they help support the bees.
Mountain mints are not only a great herb for making tea, but they're also a great perennial that everybody should have in their gardens that bumblebees love.
Here in front of me, not only is a Bountiful Gardens favorite, but a bumblebee favorite. This is called Catmint. Catmint will typically start blooming in April, blooming all the way until frost. They come in sizes from about 18 inches tall and wide, all the way to 2 to 3 feet tall and wide, so it can fit a variety of spots in your garden.
One of my favorite perennials is Pye Weed. Pye Weed flowers in late summer, going into the fall. One of the things that makes them so important for bumblebees is they provide a nice shelter during the winter when they go dormant. So I recommend keeping Pye Weed standing all the way up until March. What we have here is our native hydrangea. This is called the smooth hydrangea. I love this hydrangea because it has a really nice natural look, adds a lot of nice texture to the landscape that's not overwhelming. Also, more importantly, our native pollinators such as bumblebees love them.
Here I am sitting in our native grass section at Bountiful Gardens, surrounded by a plethora of different plants that you can include in your garden. Switchgrass and little blue stem grass, for example, are two really good, strong native grasses that provide wonderful fall color from reds, oranges, and yellows, and serve the dual purpose of supporting our native bees. The thick stems and dense foliage on these grasses provide great overwintering spaces for our bees, keeping them warm and cozy throughout the winter. So in general, I never recommend using pesticides, but I have to say it's super important that we also don't use pesticides for our native bees. In summer and going into the fall, our bees are going to start transitioning into making queen bees for the colony for the following year. And in that process, they're very susceptible to pesticides. So even just a little bit of pesticides that gets on these eggs cause the egg to not be viable, which is going to create a lack of queen bees for the following year, which is going to create a lack of bees in general. So it's super important that we limit our use of pesticides and try not to use them at all wherever possible.
Bumblebees are some amazing little critters that do some essential work throughout our gardens. And now you know how to support them throughout the year. And if we all pitch in, we can help those bumblebee populations bounce back. So if you're saying to yourself, hey, I've seen a lot of these plants in the other videos, you're absolutely right. We're hoping that these videos can help you find that perfect plant palette for your pollinators and your property. So as always, thank you for watching our video. We hope your summer's off to a great start. And if you like this video, please make sure to like it, leave us a comment, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of these amazing videos that we're making for you this summer. And if you really want to help the bumblebee population, share this video with your friends. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.